Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chef Luke. I'm behind the camera here at Chef Kevin's house. It is still summertime. Even though pumpkin spice is starting to emerge, it's still summertime. So we're looking for something light and refreshing. And he's got just that for us. Chef Kevin, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Chef Luke. I couldn't do it without him behind the scenes here. He really comes over and sets up a bunch of different stuff. So really appreciative of that. We got a great late summer salad for you. Simple and one that you can take in about 10 different directions. So if you keep the basic techniques, what we're going to talk about down, then we can go in different directions. So I love this salad. Again, we're indoors. Thought we utilized the indoor grill, one of my favorite pans to use. So I use it all the time. Let me just make sure I got my heat adjusted correctly on it, because we're going to grill some watermelon on there, right? We've got these watermelon discs. And you know, as chefs, one thing we do is utilize all products. So although I cut these out, I did get a fair amount of waste, right? So the good thing about that is I took some of the excess scraps of them, pureed them, juiced them, strained them, reduced it down with some sherry vinegar, and then got to a syrup with some mint leaves in there. And that's going to be my garnish, right? Additionally, we had the rinds of the watermelon, and I didn't want to throw those out either. So I peeled them, julienned them, pickled them, and made it with some turmeric and got this really wild color on it. It's got a really nice snap and pickle to it too. So we'll incorporate that into the lettuce, into the salad as well. Got some arugula, some toasted pine nuts. We've got a little bit of chili powder. Again, that's one of those ingredients we can take this dish in a lot of different directions. Chef Luke and I were talking about it, trying to come up with how many we could do. You know, if this was Chinese 5-spice, we could go in that direction. A little bit Asian salad. We could do smoked paprika. You could do cayenne pepper. Excuse me. You can go in a lot of different directions. So let's get started. Two things I want to show you guys is with this red onion. First thing we're going to do is a lyonnaise cut for our pickling. So I've got a little pickling juice. It's the same one I use for the rind. Basically vinegar, salt, sugar, pickling spice, and turmeric. And turmeric gives it that bright orange color. So we're going to do a quick pickle on some onions. And then a question Chef and I always get is teaching CU 101. Chef, I don't really get that brunoise cut. It's really hard for me. So I'm going to show you how to do that as we build our simple vinaigrette for this dish. Then I'll grill these off. All right, so let's get started. So peeled my onion, obviously. I'm going to cut right through that root. Now, for the lyonnaise, I want to make sure that I cut that core out, right? If I don't cut that core out, then what happens is the onions stick together and it doesn't really work. So we talk about pole to pole. What does that mean? This onion's like a pole here. I want to get it down this way. So very simply, I'm just going to come across and go as thin as I can, right? I want to go super, super thin. And that's going to be enough for our purposes here. So just make sure that they're all separated, right? Because I want to get that acid to get in there. Now, generally, I like raw red onion, but for the most part, most people don't. So you got to do something with it. You can blanch it really quick. You can pickle it. So for our purposes, we're going to give it just a quick pickle. Just a little salt in there. It's a gift from a good friend of mine. Salt, put a little pepper in there. And again, I'm going to come back with that pickling spice. You know, you do it by taste. Salt, sugar, you could use brown sugar, and that's it. Just get a little bit in there, mix that around, get some good flavors. Macerating, it really only needs about 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. Just starts to break that down. That salt does that, the vinegar does it. It just gives it that nice little twist, taste as well. All right, let's go to the brunoise. So I'm only going to use a half an onion here. Keep the core intact this time. I want it intact. Same way, right? We're going to go pole to pole with this. And if you notice, I'm coming down with the knife, but I'm only coming to the edge here. I'm leaving a little bit behind. Spin and come down. Now, here's the thing. I know as students, we struggle, right? If this is not brune wide enough, no big deal. Take your blade and come along and get the cut that you want, right? Depending on what we do. This week, we're in CU 101, we're doing a beurre blanc. We want our shallots to be really finely brune wide. If they're big and clunky in the sauce, then it shows up that way, right? One of the first things we look at is our knife skills and see how they pertain to the dish. So we want to make sure we get a good brunoise on there. All right. Let's get that into our mixing bowl. Any questions out there, Chef? Anybody want to say anything?
They just want the recipes for that reduction and that pickling liquid.
Oh boy, those are secrets. I'll have to do something about that. All right, vinaigrette, right? Guys, there's no reason anybody should ever buy a vinaigrette. 3 to 1. I'm not going to measure. I'm going to get a little bit of sherry vinegar in there. Sherry vinegar is a little bit stronger. By the way, all vinegars are going to have an acidity level on it. This one's 7%, so it's pretty acidic, right? So you got to be careful with it. A little bit of pepper. Again, with a little bit of salt. And this is sea salt, it's really salty. Got to be careful, right? Salty. Cheese, feta cheese in a brine, salty. So be careful when you're doing these things. A little bit of olive oil. And if I had it out, I probably would use a touch of Dijon mustard to get a nice emulsification in there. But we're gonna leave this one broken. I only need a little bit this to dress our arugula. Very, very light. Put that to the side for now. All right, let's talk about our watermelon. So the key with this watermelon is, depending on the time of the year, they're really sweet. I want to take advantage of that and kind of caramelize our sugars a little bit on there, right? But I got to make sure this is really dry, because if it's not very dry, what's going to happen is, what do we know about dry heat cooking method? The enemy is going to be the moisture. So I don't want the moisture here. So dry it off a little bit, and we're going to put a little bit of olive oil on it. So we're going to season it with some olive oil just on the one side. And whenever we do grilling, right, we always want to make sure that we have a conduit. So we need that oil on there. And I'm going to give just a little bit of brush on the grill grates as well, right? I want to make sure there's some good contact and so that it doesn't stick. Again, a little bit of salt. This is where we come back with our chili powder. Just a little bit. We're going to go for some unique flavors. So, and then some cracked black pepper. And then we're going to go on to the pan. Now, I feel like I got a good hot heat going there, right? So this one, unlike a steak, I'm going to just give it a little bit of a press so it gets that sear going, because this is a high moisture item, right? Push down. We can go for those grill marks for sure. Check my heat. I think I got a good temperature going. All right, now let's talk about plate up a little bit. While this is cooking, we're going to start talking about plating up. So I'm going to take a little bit of my pickle rind, of the watermelon rind that's been pickled. And, it's pretty strong and pretty aggressive. So I don't want to put it directly into the salad. I'm going to use it like a little side garnish, right? Let's say we can have some, if you choose, you can pull some into your salad if you choose, right? So I got that there. Now it looks a little bland, right? Doesn't have much color. So picked this mint out of my garden earlier today. By the way, if you want to see some really cool gardens, go onto the community group that we have, Grow Your Own Food, and you will see some great gardens. Chef Chris has a great garden. Chef Caesar has a phenomenal garden. Mine's limping along. It looks like dirt right now, but it'll come on strong in the fall. So I'm going to do just a little bit of a chiffonade. Opens up those mint leaves, gets some good flavor going. Now, whenever you chiffonade an herb, you can tell right away if it was done properly, right? The cells are not broken, so they're all separate, right? It won't brown on you if you cut it right. Let's get a little bit in there. Goes along nice with that. Take a peek at my watermelon. And I got some good marks. Turn. What degree do we turn it? That's right, 45.
We want that quadrilogy, not
There you
not
go.
a checkerboard.
I've been thinking, I forgot the word on that. So thank you for reminding me. All right, let's start talking about plating up a little bit as that's doing its thing. I'm going to get a little bit of arugula here. Again, I seasoned this vinaigrette, so I'm just tossing it very lightly in here.
That peppery arugula is going to be a nice
Thank you.
contrast.
So that was a good lead up, chef, right? I've got some peppery arugula. So it should give us some good contrast, right? We've got arugula that's peppery. We're gonna have the watermelon that's sweet. We're gonna have some syrup that's sweet as well. We're gonna come back with some creamy fat in the feta cheese. So we're gonna be in really good shape. Give those a quick flip. Another great handy tool, right? Offset spatula, the mini one. All right, I've got some pre-done. I'm just going to put them on there. I like the ones coming off the grill a little bit better. So grab 2 of those. We talk about plating all the time. And I tell you, honestly, that's one of the things I struggled with in my career was plating. I had to really think about it. I don't have that artistic mind. It doesn't work for me that way. My food tastes great, but I got to really work at getting it on the plate looking good. This I do know, right? Odd numbers are always going to work better than even numbers on a plate. So we've got some good things going on. Let's go back now and talk about some garnishing, right? So we've got this cheese. Let's just give it a little bit of a crumble and put it into the dish, right? We talked about what it does. It's creaminess. It has some fat to it. It needs a little help on the oil. You need a little bit of oil on there just for glistening. Fat, again, more fat, right? We'll come back with those onions that we just pickled. A little bit, not a lot, right? We'll get a little bit on there just for some color and flavor, absolutely, right? Now, this is what we talked about going different directions. I've got some pine nuts. I toasted these earlier. That gives us a crunch, right? Now we need a texture on there. So a little bit of a crunch. Now I could do this another too. I could grate some lime zest on there. So I think I am going to do that. Just a little bit of lime zest. Just gives it, yes, another little dimension of flavor when you taste and go, ooh, what's that? So that's on there. And then we're going to come back, and the last thing we're going to do is this syrup as a garnish. And that just gives it some color, right? And then the last thing we'll do, we'll just hit it with a little bit more black pepper. Now, obviously, we could go in a lot of different directions with that. We can make it bigger. We can do, so many different things for it. This is a salad that's got to be done and then eaten, right? The heat of that watermelon is going to start to wilt that arugula, and it just becomes so much better when it's an a la minute dish, to the minute. Get your setup, get it going, make it, enjoy it, and then you can come back for your main entree. Chef, any questions out there? Anybody got any questions you want to ask?
It doesn't look like a lot of questions, but I think what's cool to think about here with this salad is if you take all the individual components and think about, Chef keeps talking about how you can do it differently. You've got the arugula. That arugula could be switched out with almost any other salad green, right? You've got the watermelon, which is great. Be really good with peaches as
Do
well,
that too, absolutely.
right? So you could swap out that fruit. You could, swap out the feta cheese with goat cheese. You could do any number of. So think about all those components, right? You want your salt, your fat, your acid, right? But then you've got your varying textures, temperatures. So as long as you're thinking about all those things when you're creating a dish like this, that's when you are able to start to build your own recipes,
Flavor.
your own dishes, which is what we hear a lot from students. You know, I want to be able to create my own recipes. So take something like this, go make this salad, and then think about, okay, how would I turn this into my own style or something?
Yeah, we're coming up on the fall, right? This could
Yeah.
easily switch around to using a pumpkin. You're gonna have to cook it a little bit longer, maybe even pre-cook it. And then those pine nuts could be a pumpkin seed, right? And definitely go in a slant that way. Queso fresco would be good cheese in that. So you can see how just getting those bases, always looking at tart, crunchy, creamy, fat that was in there, peppery on the arugula. And of course, your main component was the sweet one. Oftentimes we talk about too, and this is a great one, we talk about garnishes. Everybody wants to garnish with a lemon wheel, parsley. Look at the components of the dish and then pull something out of that dish. Here, watermelon. I pulled the rind out to make a garnish, right? This is onion. You could even do like a fried onion ring or fried leek, right? Fried onions that have a nice crunch that go on. And you always pull something out of that and then take it in a different direction. Usually something that's in that dish, right? So lots of different things for you to think about, to play with, but always keeping those balances in play.
Yeah, the balance is very important. Very important. Any questions out there? The recipe can be found in the email, the email invite that was sent out to you guys. And then we'll have this recording available for you as well later on. Once we're all wrapped up here, but yeah, any other questions?
I would just say too, if you don't have one of these in your arsenal, that's your next $19. I think you can get one for about $19.
Yeah, grill pans, you can grab those at, I mean, our grocery store has grill pans.
Yep.
You know, obviously online is a great option as well. Walmart is a great option. Grill pans are great when the weather is not nice, or like we talked about here, it's 100 outside, so we're grilling
I worked in
inside.
a 38-seat French restaurant, and we did not have a grill. We had 3 grilled items on the menu, and this is what we had. And it worked just fine. Nobody knew the difference, Chef. All right, that's all I got for you.
One thing I want to ask, Chef, think about mise en place, you guys here. You see how Chef Kevin put his dish together very quickly, but he had everything ready to go, right? So getting your mise en place is so important because you can make, you know, something very quickly, but once you have everything set up right, you can see that he just assemble everything and no sweat, right, Chef?
Absolutely. It is all about mise en place, for sure. And I got to think about it every time. It's not like you just come in and start cooking. I thought about this dish. I thought about it. I did some prep work yesterday. I preset this up. I'm not rushing around. It makes it easier when you think about it. The steps that you're going to go. Luke and I had a pre-production meeting. How do you want to see this? What steps are you going to do it in? So it just doesn't happen. You know, guys, nothing happens. Things are always planned, especially in the kitchen.
Yes. There's a hand up. Looks like Lyria has a question.
Yes, good day. I am one of the pastry students, and Chef talked about the garden group. How can I get to see that?
So that's on the student portal. I don't have off the top of my head, maybe Chef Caesar can put that into the chat. Chef, do you think you can do that? The portal,
Do that right now. I'm gonna put the link for the portal right now so you guys.
I couldn't think of the word.
So give me 1 second. It's coming up right now.
Thank
And there,
you.
Lyria, I see you're on your, it looks like you might be on a phone. So if you can't grab that link, you can also ask your instructor and they can get you the directions to that student portal as well, if you're not able to get to it right now.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on there.
But once you're in there, you'll see the community and you can browse through all the groups available there.
Okay, thank you, because I had to stay back at work late, and I looked at the time. I'm like, I'll catch this in my car. So that's what I am doing. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Let's see. Everybody is pretty pumped up. Looks like some people are going to be throwing this on the grill for Labor Day.
That's a good
We got
idea.
it just in time. So this will be a nice, this will also be a nice contrast to your barbecue, your burgers and dogs.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You'll
Yeah.
look like a hero. When somebody else shows up with that bag Caesar salad, you're gonna come rolling in with this and look like a hero. So
well, I feel like if I eat a watermelon salad, I can also eat 2 more hot dogs and feel okay
Absolutely.
about it.
yeah.
That sounds like a good idea,
So we
Chef.
got some good ones coming. Look for the October one. I think we're gonna start going into some fall weather soups. And definitely utilize that big gourd, the pumpkin in our next video shoot. So
Yeah, stay
I'd like
tuned.
to again thank Chef Luke for there and the support of Chef Nick and Chef Caesar. If I missed any other chef out there, sorry, I have the computer in
Oh
front of me.
yeah,
I can't
Chef
see.
Alyssa, Chef Eduardo, Chef
The Carl.
Kevin, Chef Albert. We got a whole
All right.
whole bunch of chefs hanging out with us and tons of
Angela.
stuff.
IPA
Chef
Nation
Alonso's
coming
here.
strong.
That's right. Cool.
All right, guys, we'll see you in October. Take care and thank you very much.
Great job, Chef.
Great job, Chef.